Let's begin. Today's July 17th, 2024, and we're solving the Daily Turing Machine Puzzle. Today's puzzle uses 6 criteria cards and its 6 verification cards. Let's go to turingmachine.info for the details. So in today's puzzle, we're using the following 6 criteria cards. Criteria card 3, 5, 13, 16, 19, and 21. And the puzzle uses the green verification cards. The code above is your way to get more information on today's puzzle by searching the code on turingmachine.info. Let's go solve. So on the grid above, we've got our 6 criteria cards: criteria card A, criteria card B, and criteria card C. In the bottom row, we've got criteria card D, criteria card E, and finally criteria card F. So criteria card A looks at our middle digit, the square digit, and we'll be comparing it to the number 3. So should the value of square be less than 3, should it be equal to 3, or should it be greater than 3? Criteria card B looks at our first digit, the triangle digit, and the Turing machine will let us know whether its value is an even digit or an odd digit. Criteria card C looks at our middle and last digit, our square and circle, and basically is comparing them. So should the value of square be less than circle, should they be equal, or should square be greater than circle? Criteria card D will look at the 3-digit solution, and the Turing machine will let us know a little bit about the ratio of even to odds. So should there be more even than odds, or should there be less even than odds? Criteria card E will look at our first 2 digits, triangle and square, add them together, and compare their sum to the number 6. So should the sum be less than 6? Should the sum be equal to 6, or should the sum be greater than 6? And finally, criteria card F, again, we'll look at the 3-digit solution and let us know a little bit about its kind of structure, so to speak. It'll let us know whether there should be a pair or not. So if there is a pair, it could be something like the example 131. If there is no pair, there are 2 alternatives. Either they're all different, as in the example 134, or they're all the same, as in the example 222. Remember, the objective of today's puzzle is to find that unique 3-digit code that abides by all 6 criteria cards. And we're going to start with an initial proposal of 314. So the first thing I want to find out is a little bit more about that triangle digit, or first digit. So let me go ahead and test criteria card B. Okay, so the Turing machine approves of what I have. Notice that I did choose an odd 3 for my triangle value, and the Turing machine approves of it. So in my notes, I'm going to say that yes, triangle is an odd digit. Now, it may not be 3 exactly, but we do know that it is an odd. And since I do know it's odd, I can go up here and cross out both even. So I can cross out the number 2 and 4. Okay, so the next thing I want to find out is, since I do have an odd, maybe I can figure out something about the ratio even to odds. So let me go ahead and test criteria card D. Okay, so it does approve of my proposal 314. Notice I do have 2 odds to a single even, so that means there are less even than odds. So let me go ahead and type that up in section D, that even is less than odd. Well, at this point, I mean, the 2 possibilities are that there are 2 odds and a single even, or they potentially could be all odd. And that said, let's go ahead and test criteria card F, see if there's a pair or not. So let's go ahead and test criteria card F. Okay, so if you look at my proposal, I do have all unique digits, but the Turing machine does not approve that, so no pairs is not correct. So indeed there is a pair. So let me go ahead and type that up and that is in section F, that there is a pair. Well, that said, we still don't know if there are two odds and an even, or it could be a pair of odds and a different odd for the third digit. And surprisingly, we really had no opportunity, well, based on the choices I made for the criteria cards, no other opportunities to cross out any values. So we're done with this round. We've already completed our 3 Turing tests. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start talking about how to construct a good second round proposal. So notice that we did not test what the square value is, nor did we compare square with circle, or kind of found a little bit about both the sum of triangle and square. So that said, again, we do have a pair, and we do have criteria card C that will pair up, could potentially pair up our square and circle values. And we do have criteria card A that would, let us know a little bit more about it, and then it would default to circle, and then maybe based on what square is, we could figure out what triangle is. So it could be that, again, square and circle are paired up, and triangle is our other odd digit. So what could we do? Well, if they're all odd, I guess we could, one possibility, just to throw it out, it could be either something like 133 or 533, but I don't know if that's too simple or not. Well, at least if we test the equal in the next round, if they're not equal, then we know at least, square and circle are not the pair. So it would either be triangle square or triangle circle. But let's go ahead and test 133 and see what happens. Okay, so out of those, and again, we still don't know exactly if there are 3 odds or not. I wonder, was there any other clue that I missed? No, maybe not. Okay, so let's go ahead and test. Let's test criteria card C. Okay, so we know they are equal, so that's our pair. So we've definitively established that square and circle are our pair since they are equal. So that's fantastic. So let's go ahead and just type that up. And that was in section C. That square is equal to circle. And I think that definitively says that they all have to be odd, right? Because if triangle's odd and I have at least one more odd because they're equal, they're all odd. Okay, so I think that's well established. And now, let's see, what if we were, so it's down to basically A or E, and I'm wondering if I choose one or the other, can I deduce the other? So well, let's see. Let's go ahead and test criteria card A. Let's see. Okay, so no, square is not 3. So that means that, again, for criteria card A, we'll say that square is either 1 or 5. Okay, that's interesting. So square is equal to, let me state as what the card says. It's either less than 3 or greater than 3. So we know it's not 3, so at least then we can cross out, actually since we know they're odds, we can cross out, 2, 3, and 4 for both square and circle. I could have crossed out the 2s and 4s a lot earlier, but that's fine. Okay, so let's see. This does bring up an interesting scenario. Could they all be the same? Could they all be 1s or all 5s? Is that a possibility? Okay, well, let's just go ahead and test criteria card E and see what we have for the sum. Okay, so the sum is not less than 6. So let's go ahead and type up that the sum has to be either equal or greater than 6. So let's go ahead and type that up. So triangle plus square is again either less than 6, or sorry, equal to 6, or greater than 6. So it's definitely not less. I did have a 1 and 3. Their sum is 4. That's less than 6, but that is invalid. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's see, what can we conclude from the sum? If the sum is not less than 6, or it's not less than, yeah, it's not less than 6, can we conclude? No, I don't think we can conclude that either triangle or square is not a 1. Can we? Well, let's see. Should I focus on the triangle or the square? Well, triangle can add up with 5 to get a 6, so that's okay. 3 can add up with 5 to get something greater than 6, and so can 5. And square 1 could be added to 5, and 5 could be added to all of them. Okay, so that really didn't tell us much, whether it's equal or greater than. And circle is just going to default to whatever square is. So let's see. So I don't think I can make any conclusions right now. So what sort of proposal can I construct for the third round? Should I get something that's equal to 6? Yeah, it almost feels like maybe it could be equal to 6 and then square. Knowing what square is, we know what triangle is. That could be how it's going to play out. Well, let's see. I wonder if it's worth listing out some possibilities. Yeah, there shouldn't be too many. Well, there are 1, 2, 1, I think there should be only 2 with sum of 6. Because, it's either 1, 5 or 5, 1, and then the circle just follows the square's lead. What about greater than 6? That would be a 3, 5, 5, or all 5s. Okay. Well, I think I'm just going to come up with something. So let's stick with a 6 and I'll choose 5, 1, 1. Let's do that. 5, 1, 1. And let's see, what would be the best test? Would testing square again or the sum? Testing the square or the sum. Well, out of 1 and 5, obviously 5 would be the best to have something that's either equal or greater. I think, let me go ahead and test the square. So let me test A again. Okay, so we know that that square is not a 1, so it must be a 5, as I sort of concluded. So let's go update our notes for A. That square is not less than 3, so it must be greater than 3. So we know it's greater than 3. And since that's the case, square is not a 1, and neither is circle. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so square is not a 1 or a 3, so it is a 5, and we know it's a 5, 5. So then, out of all of these, 1, 5 is a 6, 3, 5, and 5, 5 are greater than. Is there any indication that they could all be the same? Well, I think we can, well, no, of course they can't all be the same. There's a pair. So yeah, so it can't be 5, because that then would be no pair. And so I guess it does come down, yeah, you do have to test, is it a 6 or is it greater than? And I don't know if there's a way to deduce whether it's a 6 or greater than. My gut feeling is that it is going to be greater than, just because you needed something to maybe differentiate between the 3 and the 5, maybe. The no pair cancels the 5 and leaves you with the 3. So I'm thinking that the sum is going to not be 6, but let's verify. So let's test again criteria card E. Okay, so yes, the sum is not 6, since that's what I have in my proposal. So let me go ahead and cross it out. So yes, indeed, the sum is greater than 6, and the only way to achieve that would have been with a 3. So of course it's not 1, because that gave us a 6. And it couldn't be a 5 because of the pairing. And so yeah, the solution should be 3, 5, 5. Okay. And so I think we're pretty clear on here. So let's just go straight to turingmachine.info and verify the solution. So 3, 5, 5. Yes. Okay, fantastic. So now let's actually verify how we did versus the Turing machine. I'm a bit doubtful. We did do 8 tests, 3 rounds, so we'll see how we do. So in the first round, we did BDF, and then in the second round, we did ACE, all the other ones, and then the last one we did AE. So let's do BDF in the first round. BDF. Now, did I select it correctly? No, it was BD that were both true. So BD were true, F was incorrect. The next round we did A, I believe C was correct, and E was incorrect. And in the third round, A and E were both incorrect. Okay, let's see. Wow, okay, so good. We equaled the Turing machine. We tied with it, but that means that whenever there's a tie, we do win. It's a success. So fantastic. So what do you think? Were there any opportunities that I could have deduced certain results? Did I miss something? Any thoughts? Please add to the comments. But if you did like the video, please do give it a thumbs up so that more people can find the channel. And if you don't want to miss out on any future videos, please hit subscribe to be notified. Well, until next time, have a great one.